Hey everyone, I'm rzr360 or rzr360, whichever one you prefer. I'm going to be running Dark Souls 3, any percent, no teardrop. Time will begin when I hit yes on character creation. So 3, 2, 1, go. So like I said, this is Dark Souls 3, any percent, no teardrop. The reason it's no teardrop is because the normal any percent category uses a spell called Tears of Denial to do some crazy shenanigans like go out of bounds, lose gravity, and all sorts of craziness. I'm not going to be doing any of that, but I am going to be doing some really cool skips and tricks. This is the first area of the game, and basically this area we're going to run through it, pick up the items that we need for the start, and then fight the first boss. And that's pretty much how we're going to get through every single area of the game, is run through, try to avoid the enemies as best we can, and beat the boss. So coming up is the first boss, Eodex Gundyr. He can be really annoying if you're trying to go fast, but he's pretty straightforward. If any of you have ever played this game, pull out the sword and you fight him. But if you didn't know, you can actually hit him before he even starts to stand up. So basically what I want to try to do is hit Gundyr a certain number of times so that he'll transition into phase 2. I'm one hit off right now. And then he should be, yep, there goes. He's going to transition to phase 2. I'm going to do 2 full charge R2 attacks. Then I'm going to throw these fire bombs. The first one will stagger. The second one will do extra damage because he's staggered. And the third one will kill him. And then as soon as this door opens, I'm going to drop the S-Stock. The S-Stock is a very crappy weapon. The only reason that we even have it is because it is the starting weapon for the Assassin class. And there is reasons we start Assassin. I'll get into that a little bit later. Coming up is the Firelink Shrine. If you've ever played a Dark Souls game before, either Dark Souls 1 or 3, you know this area. It's kind of like the central hub. We're going to come here a few times throughout the run to buy certain items. The first time we're really just going to buy short sword and some homeward bones. We'll also come back here to upgrade our weapons and to level up. Oh, so sometimes you can buffer inputs. I accidentally hit X, so that was a buffered input. Hopefully I don't do that anymore, but I didn't actually lose time there because you have to wait for that bonfire to activate anyway. But this area is the High Wall of Lothric. This area can be extremely mean sometimes, but as long as we have good stamina management and we run through the area, it can be pretty safe as well. But like I said, with the first area, Intended Graves, we're going to kind of treat every area the same. We're going to run through it, pick up items we need, and get to the boss as quickly as possible. So this is gold pine resin. I'm just going to drop down. But yeah, this area, these guys, I call them the Goon Squad. They can be extremely mean because once one of them hits you, there's a huge chance that they'll all be aggressive and attack you. That was pretty smooth. And here's one of the first reasons why we go Assassin. I'm going to cast the spell that I started with called Spook. Spook does 2 things. First one is it negates fall damage, and will even let you survive some falls that would outright kill you up to a certain height. And it also makes your footsteps silent, so enemies can aggro on you 2 ways. One, either they see you, or the second one, they hear you. You see, like, I ran right by that knight and he didn't do anything because my footsteps were silent. Yeah, NTD stands for no teardrop. So I'm going to talk to Emma. I'm going to get the small Lothric banner. This is so we can progress in the game. So I'm going to equip some items that I need. So the gold pine resin, the item I picked up, is going to actually be used on the next coming up boss. This is a Vort of the Boreal Valley. We call him the Doggo Boy or something similar to that because he gets on all fours and runs around the arena like a mad dog, and it's kind of hilarious. But basically, we'll try to do what we did with Gundyr, hit him a certain number of times. So basically, I want to try to hit him 8 times and then wait for my stamina to refill, because when I hit him the 9th time, he's going to start to transform. So I want to hit him the 9th time while he's doing an attack, because he won't transform until after he does the attack. Then I want to hit him a bunch of times while he's transforming. He's going to do these 3 charges, and I'm just going to kind of roll to dodge him and then kill the boss. So that was Vort, the Boreal Valley. Gold Pine Resin really makes that that boss kind of trivial. He takes a lot of damage from lightning. I'm going to rest at this bonfire because these 2 big doors, they take forever to open, but when you rest at a bonfire, they automatically open. Yeah, rip Doggo Boy. He's a hecker anyway. We don't like dogs in this game. So normally, in the Dark Souls 3 community, we love dogs. Dark Souls dogs are a bit of a meme, because especially in Dark Souls 3, they can teleport and do some crazy stuff with that, like land right on top of your character model. There I cast Spook to drop down to those dogs, to negate fall damage, like I said, and to make it so they don't aggro, so I can pick up some alluring skulls, which I'm going to use a little bit later. So this guy can be really mean, and kind of hang out in that doorway and block your way. So I'm going to quit out. When you quit out, you reset enemy positions. So we'll use that if we get into some pretty tricky situations. Normally we run this game on in-game time instead of RTA. So quit outs don't actually cost you all that much time. They cost you about 1.5 seconds. But in RTA, I kind of want to limit my quit outs so that I can keep moving around in the game. So that jump is a lot harder than it looks. The thrall there can block you, and then you just kind of fall, and you have to run around that again. It costs 10 seconds, and it's a bad time. Upcoming is the first major skip of the game. It's called Fair and Keep skip. We call it Fair and Keep skip because it skips Fair and Keep. Fair and Keep is not a fun place to go, so we don't go there. We skip it. Using Fair and Keep skip, actually, funnily enough. You know, we're very imaginative sometimes with the names we come up with. But basically, there's a door, and we're going to make the door disappear with a magic trick. So we're gonna... That door we don't make disappear. That door stays there. Doors are pretty magnificent in this game. We don't usually get to watch them open, because like I said, when you... we quit out usually because we go by in-game time. So when you're at a door, once you start to open it, if you quit out, the game has a flag that triggers that says the door is already open, so you skip watching the animation by quitting out. But we don't do that in RTA, because it's actually slower, since menus in this game take literally forever. So I kind of want to take my time with this. Okay, that's Fair and Keep skip. So basically, how this trick works is From Software decided that it was a really cool idea whenever you fall off ledges or into pits, into areas where you're really not supposed to go. There's 2 triggers that will happen, and they're on separate planes. One of them is called the death plane, is which your character actually dies, and the other one is called the death cam trigger. So what I did is I jumped into that little pit, and then I jumped out of it by jumping left real fast to hit the death cam trigger. without actually hitting the death plane trigger. So the game thinks my character actually kind of died, even though he didn't, so I can still run around. And then the game stops loading in certain assets. You can see certain particles stop being loaded in after a certain distance. The enemies will disappear. And like I said, there's a door that's normally over here. We made it disappear with this trick, so that way we can just kind of run through it. Yes, it's very similar to Sen's Gate Skip if you know Dark Souls 1. So we're going to come through this door that's no longer there. We're going to come onto this side of it, and we're going to open it from this side. And then I have to collect a couple items over here for the rest of the run. So I bought this short sword at Firelink, but I'm actually going to use this weapon that I just picked up, the Sellsword Twin Blades. And I also need this item right here, which is the Farron Coal. Sellsword Twin Blades are arguably, but not arguably, the best weapon in the game. They do insane amounts of damage, especially in this game, in this patch. So something I neglected to mention earlier, we don't actually run no teardrop on the current patch. Any of the major categories, we actually down patch 4 for a myriad of different reasons. Certain glitches are on certain patches that aren't on others. In this patch in particular, the bleed effect is insanely powerful as opposed to the current patch. So that and a couple other reasons are why we run on this patch, which is 1.08. So next up is coming the Abyss Watchers. The Abyss Watchers, if you've ever played this game, they're one of the Lords of Cinder, and so they're kind of a big deal in this world. Yeah, I'm gonna quit out for that guy. I'm only gonna be fighting them at level 10, and they are really tough boss, so it'll actually be kind of scary. Hopefully I get some good RNG and don't get completely trolled by them. I'm just gonna do a little bit of RNG manipulation right here, and hopefully I get some good RNG. I'm gonna quit out because I got the bad RNG on that one and try again. Yeah, this is a really hard boss. Okay, oh, it looks like I got the good RNG. Let's see if it holds up. Alright, so that was a little bit of a debate. This is called Watcher's Glitch. So a lot of the bosses in this game, not all of them, but a lot of them, their AI is tied to the fog wall. Now, normally the game will save your position, it'll set a flag whenever you quit out. Yes, Miyazaki did intend for this. It'll save your position whenever you quit out, and then when you reload, it'll put you back into that same spot. But a lot of times your position is kind of lagged. So basically, I make the game save my position inside the boss arena, which you're normally not supposed to be able to do. But we do it anyway, because we cheat in the speedrun. And by doing that, though, I have the ability to enter the boss arena after the cutscene triggers once I quit out and load back in. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get this bonfire because catacombs can be really scary. This is super peachy, but whatever. But that boss can by allowing myself to quit out and load back into the game inside the boss arena without activating the fog wall, the boss's AI doesn't ever trigger because it's actually, like I said, tied to the fog wall activation. So that boss we can get to stand still. And that is the only boss in this run that we do that to. There is potentially another boss that we can kind of glitch the AI in, but it's really hard to actually consistently set up. Or, well, it's not really hard, it's just really slow. So I probably won't go for it. So this area can be super mean. The skeletons can hit you very quickly, and I'm gonna try to do this. Alright, fence skip easy. So FromSoft loves their fences, but they're not very good at building on them. Just ask Bloodborne players. If you ever seen a Bloodborne speedrun, they just walk through the fences. We have to climb over them. So I'm going to quit out because, like I said, these skeletons are extremely scary. So I just picked up another item. That's the Grave Warden's Ashes. I'm going to use that to buy Titanite Shards and Carthus Rouge. Carthus Rouge is the resin in this game that lets me buff my weapons with the bleed effect. And like I said earlier, bleed is extremely powerful in this patch, so we use it for just about all the bosses. Yeah, who knows what we'll have in Elden Ring exactly. This next boss is High Lord Wolnir. He's really the first scary boss in this game. He likes to vape, and he's got some really sick bling that he wears because he thinks he's cool, but he's kind of a jerk though, so his bling is a little muted right now. I'm gonna lighten it up. So once you hit these bracelets a certain number of times, they break. So, excuse me if I have to like kind of get quiet and count. Yikes. So, and sometimes you can get what's called a hand hit, which is what happened there and there. So this is not good. I don't like this. Yikes. Okay, so Wolnir can be a real hecker. I kind of messed that up. Okay, so this is actually okay. This bracelet should break soon. There we go. Okay, so we got through Wolnir. Albeit a little slow. Yeah, he can, that mist that hangs around him, it can deal a ton of damage very fast. So next up is coming the biggest skip in the game. This is called Doll Skip. Now, normally you're supposed to go to this whole complete other area of the game called Cathedral of the Deep and fight... Oh, I forgot to quit out at the door. I was supposed to quit out because those skeletons, yeah, they'll just bum rush you like that, and yeah, you'll die very quickly. But yeah, you're supposed to go to Cathedral of the Deep, kill the Deacons of the Deep to get Aldrich's doll, because Aldrich still plays with dolls. But we want to piss Aldrich off because we don't like him very much, so we don't get his doll. We don't give him the satisfaction. So here was just some clever platforming that we're going to do real quick. This is totally intended because you can kind of just jump here. So obviously this was meant to happen. And then we're just going to fall down this little hole that's right there. Going to run along this little cliff edge. This is all totally intended. So we're just going to line this up a bit. And then fall down. And then just kind of roll off the wall a little. And now I'm in a death cam, just like I was with Fahrenkeep Skip. So I have this kind of top-down view. Something I've neglected to mention with death cam earlier is you're put into tank controls whenever you go into death cam. So you have to hold forward to move forward and then kind of tilt left and right. Just like if you've ever played like a Resident Evil, like older Resident Evil game, it's similar to that where you hold forward and you kind of have the character move left and right by just kind of angling the camera. But I don't have a camera's fixed position, sorry, by angling the direction you want to go. That's what I meant to say. Why is there an alarm going off? Anyway, sorry. So we're gonna just run kind of right back up. So we had to break the bridge at the top because when you break that bridge, it creates a ladder, and we need to climb actually all the way back up to Wolnir's boss room. So we kind of run around into a circle. Oh, you can't hear it? Good, good, good. Okay. Yeah, this part can be kind of scary. There's actually a little pit right in front of Wolnir's door that you can walk into in Death Cam. Normally you have to actually jump into it, but you can walk into it in Death Cam because one of the rocks isn't loaded. And if you get into that pit, you can't get back out. But we were able to get through it without a hitch. Okay, this part I really need to focus on, so I'm going to shut up for a second. Okay, so what I did there is called a spook quit out. Hopefully when I load back into the game, I will be at the lake at the bottom of Irithyll. Nope. Okay, so I actually have to die here. Because the bridge won't be back up. Yeah, it was just a tad early. Okay, so... Alright, so I gotta do that again real quick. This is one of the things I was worried about with this run, but that's okay. We'll get it the second time. There are two ways to do this trick. I don't have to do the drop. So this next time, instead there's a bridge, I'm going to run across the bridge and go through the barrier instead. Yeah, instant replay. Or should I go for the drop again? What does chat think? Drop or bridge? You get to see both? Alright, yeah, you get to see both. That jump was early. You thought bridge first time? Fair enough. Okay. So, this is still salvageable. I lost my souls. But I can do a trick to basically get my souls back. So it's not that big a deal. Yeah, this setup doesn't take too long. Failing the drop into the lake actually cost me about 3 minutes, unfortunately. All right. So you get to see the amazing death cam again. You get to see the top-down view, and the nice leisurely run through Irithyll and the Smoldering Lake. So just sit back and enjoy the ride we're gonna go on. Hopefully don't fall into some pits. There's actually a doorway and a wall there, but you can't see it, but I ran into it. First try, every time. It's never not the first try. Okay, this camera angle is kind of awkward, but I can make it work. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is Irithyll Bridge. Currently running on it. It's not loaded in, but it is very beautiful. You just kind of have to trust me on that. I got turned around because there's banisters and stuff on the bridge. And there we go. We are now in Irithyll. That's the bridge. This is Irithyll of the Boreal Valley. I'm going to run up here, and this area is actually decently long. There's a lot of like cathedral church, like chapels and stuff. There's a lot of areas. Kind of a bit of a puzzle. I'm going to quit out because those guys can follow you and be a real hecker. Yeah, there's a lot of ghosts in here. So we're actually not going to go through much of Irithyll at all. This is called Irithyll Skip. We jump over another fence and basically lets us go through to this bonfire, which is the Distant Manor bonfire, which is kind of like the halfway point between two bosses. And we're gonna use it to go kill one boss and then come back and kill a couple others in progression in the other way. Next up is Irithyll Dungeon in the Profane Capital. Now, upcoming will be a trick to just show you kind of like another reason why we go Assassin and get Spook. Spook is very, very good spell in the game. Makes things very fast for us. These guys, though, these jailers, if you've ever played, they can be kind of annoying. They look at you, and because they really just hate looking at people, I guess, they drain your health very, very quickly. They can't kill you with that attack, but they can poke you with those little pokies, branding pokies, and then they become a real issue. But we can just kind of avoid them. So next, this is a trick called a Spook Quit Out. There is a way to get down here without doing this, but I'd rather just do this. So we drop down here, and you heard my character scream. Technically, my character died, but Spook allows your character to live. Oh, I didn't actually need to heal. Spook actually allows your character to live for a little bit longer off of a fall death. So we use that to our advantage. And we're going to do another one right here. By quitting out right as we land, our character won't actually die, but we'll load in with the at the bottom where I landed. And then I'm going to Spook here to negate fall damage, roll that fireball, roll off this bridge. And these are kind of similar to the jailers. They have different attacks. They have these little daggers, and they shoot fireballs. But they are also annoying. So this boss is Yorm, the giant. Yorm is a giant. He's very tall. He's got this huge machete. I don't have any weapons equipped right now because I came in unprepared. So I'm going to pick up the weapon that he's provided for me, and I'm going to use that for the fight. So basically, Yorm, he has like this weapon in his arena. It's intended for you to use it. He's a gimmick boss. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to stick close to Yorm and try to get him to do one or two attacks. Oops. Okay. I messed up. I'm bad. So Demon Souls has a similar weapon called Storm Roller, but yeah, that's used for a gimmick boss in that game. I pegged that really hard. It's okay though. The run back there is not that bad. And since I already have the weapon, it's actually easier to start the fight. That guy aggroed on me. I tried to spook there so he doesn't aggro, but he did anyway. So this boss is technically kind of like halfway through the run anyway, so I'm still on pace, even with that death and failing dull skip. So this isn't too terribly bad. This is like I said, dull skip was kind of one of the reasons I gave an hour estimate in the first place. Storm Roller, similar weapon. It's not the same though. Dark Souls 3 is pretty rife with references to the other games. I don't need to heal, so no point in running on that. Well, the thing is, I have to deal with this gargoyle again. He can be kind of a jerk. Okay. Hard part over. Now let's just kill Yorm. This should be pretty trivial, to be honest. I'm kind of upset that I failed that first fight because I messed up my stamina. So the weapon art, which is where you get that charged storm, and then the attack, that uses a ton of your stamina. And I'm still running with base stats, so I don't have a lot of stamina as is. Plus, because I'm not embered, any one of his attacks, if they hit me, will kill me immediately. So it's just kind of far away. What? Yeah. Yeah, so he's got really big hitboxes. I thought I was far enough away. Yeah. Okay. I can still salvage this, I think. Okay, so we're gonna run through this this area again. Yeah, Yorm has some really interesting hitboxes. The first one was my fault. The second one I really thought I was actually out of range. So yeah, you can see my health drained there a little bit. Okay, well, I don't want to spook quit out on this drop again, so I'm going to show you guys the cool one. I think I might have to spook again, though. So yeah, you can do that drop too, if you don't want to quit out. Honestly, it looks cooler in my opinion, but in a normal run, it's really slow. This part we kind of have to quit out because going through the tower is also really slow. But like way more. Okay. Let's not be stupid. Yeah. I think it would have been better had I waited to get closer to him last time. But I'm gonna have to dupe some souls anyways to make up for earlier. So I actually haven't really lost many more souls. Okay, I want to get close to him, try to get him to do 1 of 2 attacks. So that's one of the attacks he can do. This is the other one that he can do. And so we want him to get to do 1 of those 2 attacks, basically, through the entire fight. So that we can build up this charge. So he should... Oh, he's not going to stomp. I would have preferred he actually stomped there. But he's going to stomp there. That's nice. Okay, so this is fine. And then we got a head stagger, which means that on this next one he'll die. And then we'll bone out after we kill the boss. So I'm gonna have to do some quick finagling here real quick. Ashen
1.
So you... Oh, that's not it. Nope. Ah, dang it. Okay. Alright. So, basically what I'm doing there is I'm bringing up a prompt to have the game use the soul and then saying no. So what it does is it actually uses the soul, even if I don't have one in my inventory. By casting heal and then using the Estus. So I need to do it one more time to get to the souls that I was at before. Okay. Then I'm gonna give her the ashes, and like I said earlier, gonna buy 12 Titanite shards, 11 Karthus Rouge. I'm gonna come to Andre, and I'm gonna upgrade the Sellsword Twin Blades. I don't need any Ashen Estus anymore. I'm gonna give him the Farron Coal so that I can upgrade these with Sharp, which will let me do a ton of damage based on Dex. Yeah, normally we got through the first half of the game without coming back to Firelink once, except for like the very start. So all of the souls we would normally collect from the start of the game we use right here. So this is the biggest menu or Firelink visit that we have in the game. So then we go back to the Distant Manor Bonfire. We're going to move on to the next couple bosses. Pick this up for safety. So this next area is super scary. There's a couple dogs that are coming up that can be really, really mean. And so this is what I saved the other alluring skull for, was for 2 of these dogs. And then hopefully the other 2 dogs aren't total jerks. Like I said, dogs can teleport in this game. and by doing so, they can effectively hit you just about anywhere. I might have to quit out. I do. Oh, are you kidding me? Quitting out there is really bad because that witch can hit you, so I didn't want to do it there, but yeah, those dogs were mean. So I don't have any more learning skulls, so I had to get through 4 of those dogs now, so this is going to be even harder with less health because I'm no longer embered. So I forgot to pick it up. Cool. It's okay. This run is about as scuffed as a marathon run can go for Dark Souls, I think. Did I mention that a lot of people think that this game is really hard? A couple people do, and I think that's what I heard anyway. Luckily, though, the souls that I lost are, or if I die again, that I would lose are kind of trivial. Like, I don't need them at all. So normally though, if you do your stamina right here, I don't normally pick up that learning skull. I just tried to do it for the safety of the marathon. But if you do your stamina right, the dogs should almost never really mess up unless they're being really, really bad. Soulsborne games, yeah. So yeah, I quit out to reset the dog's position. They're no longer aggroed on me, and I can pretty much run through this spot more or less pretty safely. There is an Irithyll Knight coming up here who can be a real hecker. She can actually hit you through the fog wall. She was trying to do it there. So this is Pontiff Sullivan. He's a hard boss. He does have some really nice music though. That was Pontiff Sullivan. So his boss fight is pretty straightforward. All you really want to do is you can parry his big flaming sword. So you parry it and then you kill him. That's pretty much it. Not to overcomplicate things. So these two guys, Jon Snow over there and Jorah Mormont, they can be mean. If Jon Snow jumps off that ledge though, he sacrifices himself for the Brotherhood, then you're pretty much good. He can just run up and stab you, but it's a lot worse if he hangs out on that ledge and holds the wall. So here I pick up the Easterner's Ashes. The Easterner's Ashes will let me buy large Titanite shards. That'll let me upgrade my Sellsword Twin Blades even further. And like I said earlier, oh, ooh, that almost never happens. Normally running through there and actually quitting out here I think is faster than waiting for it. Yeah, you can see he got me right in the foot. That's kind of scared me. That's a that's a great arrow. Yeah, but I don't have to deal with any more enemies coming up here, so oh man, I messed up my stamina on these stairs, I think. Oh wait, nope. As good, decent stamina. It wasn't the best. So there's kind of a thing in the community. If you can't run up these stairs with good stamina, then you're just not a Dark Souls runner. Oh, no! No! Why? I did something stupid. Well, okay. Let's scuff this run even more. Cool. Natty brainwash. Yeah, exactly. Okay. That is the Razor special. Okay, so funny joke. A long time ago, I got a PB where I actually did that almost exact same thing. Okay. I might have to load a save file actually. Which will, I mean, this run's already bad anyway. I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna load it. I'm gonna cheat and load a save file. Sorry, guys.
It's totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So everything's fine. Nothing bad happened. I am at the next boss. So this would have been the next boss to get to. This is Aldrich, Devourer of Gods. He's got some... This is like... I never get that opener. Okay, cool. So he can be pretty interesting sometimes. Twice. Oh, nope, this is the other one. But basically, you want to stand in such a way that you'll know where he'll spawn so that you can get to him. If you're too far away, he'll do some really bad attacks. But as long as we stay close to him, he won't. Yeah, I used the bonfire. Natty's right. No, but funny story, that bonfire, or the Homeward Bone bonfire trick, if you input using the bone and activating the bonfire at the same time, you can activate the bonfire with having the bone prompt active prior, and it saves like a second. I went for that and thought I got the bonfire activation when I didn't. I actually did that in one of my PBs a while back and lost 7 minutes to it because I had to run back to the Grand Archives. So this is Dancer. So again, with all these bosses, we're going to hit her a certain number of times. I actually hit her a little too fast. That's okay. And she's dead. So I was supposed to stagger her on the 8th hit, but because I got the bleed proc on the 7th for being too fast, yeah. She decided not to stagger. And then we are now past the or in Lothric Castle. I'm going to go ahead and grab this bonfire. I'm gonna quit out because I don't like those guys.
If you've got a second real quick, we got a donation a way back.
Yeah, sure.
From
this is gonna be running, so.
D9. Donated $5. Said, Fort skip? Poggers?
Okay, so thank you, D9. There is a you can skip Vort, and I'm one of the people who actively try to do it usually. I decided it wasn't smart for the marathon because it's kind of a finicky trick. Heal up here. But yeah, thank you, D9. Okay, so I got 10 minutes to kill Dragon Slayer armor, the Twin Princes, and the Soul of Cinder, which is actually pretty doable. And it's funny is actually when I submitted my my run for this event, my that was my PB at the time, and that run was also not very good. But I have since PB'd a couple times since then, and recently, just last month actually, got a sub 40 in-game time for the run, which was one of my biggest goals for the longest time. Oops. Okay, Dragon Slayer armor down. Now, upcoming next is one of the scariest areas in the game, because we are pretty. Yes, tumble buff duping works on this patch. It doesn't work on current patch. So this is the Grand Archives. When we level up, we only really level damage for the first part. So we have very little health. Most everything in here can 1 or 2 shot you. So we have to run in a very specific way. We try to have our stamina ready for certain parts of this area to make it so that we can get past these enemies either while they're aggroing, before they aggro, or to completely dodge any attack that they would have us, or that they would throw our way. That's the scariest part right there, that thrall and that waxed dude. They can really screw you over. So you'll notice that I'll recover some stamina before I even come close to reusing it. That's just so that I have full stamina when I get to certain parts. This guy has never hit me once. I'm sure he can, but it's never happened. To me, anyway. And my favorite enemy, the gargoyle. He gave me bad RNG. Oh, actually, he gave me good RNG. Usually if he turns and faces the wall, he'll just fly right off the ledge to the side over there. When he kind of did what he did there, a lot of times he can slam down attack on top of you. And that's not very fun. It's always nice when he just kind of suicides, though. Get this elevator. Now, the next upcoming boss I was having some real trouble with yesterday. I did a bunch of practice today, and the fight went really well. That guy, he likes to do circles sometimes. He likes, I don't know. I'm gonna quit out at this door as well because those knights can gang up on you there. So hopefully this fight goes well. I'm actually going to top off. I didn't need to roll that. Okay, so that's phase 1. His boss has 2 phases where his brother gets on his back. Ooh. Okay. So this should actually be the boss. It's generally pretty bad to let him do that, but I didn't hit Lorien enough times. But you can actually kill I didn't hit Lothric enough times. You can actually kill the boss without draining Lorien's health if you just kill Lothric. Normally you can sometimes no Aldrich Throne cancel. No Aldrich Throne cancel. I thought about it. So you can get throne cancels like I did with Watchers there. I messed up the one on Princes, but I know Jimmy. Yeah. I thought about it, but then I was like had already dropped to the throne. I was like, oh wait, never mind. So now we're gonna level up. So once you quit that cutscene, if you bone, and you can actually hear the menu pop up, you bone and go to the last bonfire arrested, you'll actually come here, which is skipping a whole area, and having to run around to a bonfire. It actually saves quite a bit of time. So coming up is the final boss of the game. He's also one of the roughest boss fights in the game as well. Yeah, which is why we get so much health for this fight. It's actually faster to not do it technically, but with this much health I can trade hits and stuff, so it's pretty comfy. Ooh, that was weird. Okay. This is gonna stagger. So I need to focus. Okay, this is like the worst RNG you can give me. But we were able to manage it. You can roll the first one if you roll it a little late, and you'll actually avoid taking any damage. The second one I'm going to purposely take damage so I can get attacks off right away. The only thing I don't want is to get grabbed by him, because that would be a meme. Okay, so time will be when I hit yes on linking to fire. So coming up. Time. So technically underestimate, though this run is invalid. But yeah, so that's Dark Souls 3. No teardrop. Just a couple shout outs real quick. If you're interested in running Dark Souls 3, check out speedsouls.com. We have Discord link in there. We have tons of resources for the runs, different categories. Speedrun.com has all the world records. But yeah, so it's super fun to do this kind of thing. Sadly, the run didn't goes according to plan in a lot of areas, but
I mean, you were underestimate. That was pretty
I
good.
I am underestimate, only because I loaded save, but that's okay. We'll
Eh,
not worry about that.